Welcome to the Paideia Way, conversations on whole person education. I'm Dr. Brian Winsor. I'm the founder and executive director of Paideia Academies in South Phoenix, Arizona.
And I'm Mrs. Victoria Jones. I'm the executive director of education here at Paideia Academies. So today we're going to be exploring choice and calm, being proactive at home, attaching to habit one.
Man, we're so glad you joined us today. I'm excited about this topic.
Yeah, I am too. And, thinking about this topic, the way I want to start today is by saying, most families aren't trying to be reactive. They're tired, they're rushed, they're dealing with real life issues, right? And, when we're in reaction mode, we tend to escalate faster. We say things we regret, and we lose the moment we actually want to lead.
Today's episode is a different way. Choice and calm. Not perfect calm. Practiced calm.
Yes, this is the heart of habit one. Be proactive. It's that belief that we are not just reactors, we're really choosers. Yeah. So being proactive means we can pause long enough to choose our response. And it's that difference between being a thermometer, like reacting to the temperature, and then being a thermostat, which is that we can set the temperature, we can set the tone.
Yeah.
In education terms, we call that self-management. Now, self-management, this is a skill. It's not just a personality trait. It's something you have to learn, something you have to practice and do. They can be strengthened in practice as they go.
Yeah, the key idea behind that is this foundational idea that what happens to us, the stimuli, and what we do, our response, there is a space in between that. That's foundational to everything we're talking about. And in that space lies our power to choose our response, to breathe, to name what's happening, and to choose our next step based upon principles, desired results, and especially based upon the principles that our family chose at that North Star vision statement that we created. Here's the hard truth, though. I've discovered this in my own fatherhood, my own leadership, my own teaching as a special ed teacher, that we can't coach calm if we can't access calm. So before we help kids find peace, we need to find a way to help ourselves, our inner selves, find and sustain peace within, at least in the middle of that moment.
Yeah, and you know what? That's a really important statement. That's an important truth. It's not a guilt statement. That's a hope statement. Because, see, your nervous system is contagious.
Oh, yeah.
And a grounded adult gives the room a chance to settle first. Okay. So we want to do this. We want to practice this with you. Let's practice a 20-second reset you can use anywhere, whether you're in your kitchen, in the hallway, if you're in the car, right now, wherever you are and however you're listening, let's practice for 20 seconds. First, soften your brow. Relax your facial muscles. Lower your shoulders. Take one slow breath and say to yourself or think to yourself, I can choose my next step.
It doesn't solve everything, right? Chaos might still be reigning around you, but it creates the space within you where a better response even becomes possible.
So let's make this proactive living more practical with a simple framework that we use with our students, our families, and our staff at Paideia. We call this framework control, influence, accept. Control, influence, accept. So control. Control means I have control over these things. These are the things I can control. My tone, my words, my boundaries, my routines. I have control over those things. Now, influence, these are the things I can influence, but I'm not in full control of them, such as relationships, interpersonal relationships, and cooperation from other people. Over time, I can influence them, but I can't control them.
Mm.
Now, the word accept means these are the things I have to accept that I have no control over. I can't force it. Things like traffic, other people's moods, and some outcomes. Those are things I don't get to control, and so I have to accept.
Oftentimes we talk about choose your weather, and I can't choose
Yeah.
the outside weather. I remember earlier this week, we're having our meeting, and I looked out my window, and I'm in Alabama, and it was snowing, and it snowed 3 inches. And so at first I was frustrated, but then I realized I can't stop that. I can choose my response to it, but I can't stop that thing. And, reactive families and frankly, reactive classrooms, teams, organizations, corporations, reactive families spend most of their time and their energy in what they can't control. Proactive families, proactive classrooms, proactive teams, they invest energy what they can control, or at least what they can influence, like Mrs. Jones said, over time.
Over time, exactly. So let's think about this in a personal way. So if you're here live in the chat, name one thing you can control this week at home. And if you're listening to the podcast, name or write down one thing you can control this week. I'll give you a moment to think about that. One thing you can control this week. Here's the homeschool connection while you're thinking about that and doing that. At Paideia, we teach our students language and routines that help them pause, reset, and return to learning as quickly as we can. We teach them to practice things like naming their feelings, taking a reset breath. We do that in our mindfulness moments. We teach them how to breathe, focusing on what's in their control, and repairing after conflict. We call that restorative, repairing things after conflict. So we believe that when families use similar language at home, kids can build one consistent skill in both places. You can build that skill at school and take it home, from home to school, school to home. Yeah,
and that's what culture is. Culture is repeated shared practices. And it morphs into habit energy and routines, whether the routines are productive or destructive, or they shape who we become, and they shape what our family becomes. When home and school reinforce the same practice, we share the same language, it becomes a strong habit fueled by that habit energy we've spoken about, instead of this fragile idea that's easily discarded and with this exasperated, I've heard 100 times, well, that didn't work.
Right. So this week, if you have a child at Paideia, and even if you don't, whatever school your child's attending, try asking your child, what did you do at school when you feel frustrated? What are you doing? What helps you reset? What's in your control right now?
You know what I'd like? Parents, as you do that, could you hit a reply in our blog? I would love to know what your students are, what our scholars and your scholars, whether you're in a school in Albuquerque or you're a school wherever you are in the country. I would love to know what is happening in the classrooms to restore calm. Yeah.
The extension to that is to choose one shared phrase at home that you guys can practice as a family. Pause, breathe, choose. Can we do that? That phrase, pause, breathe, choose. Post this phrase somewhere in your home as a future reminder and for practices on what we do when we need to reset. Pause, breathe, choose.
That's perfect. The stimulus happens, I pause. I get into the space. I breathe. That makes the choice available to me with a calm brain and a calm spirit. Practicing this skill when emotions are calm is so crucial. You can't practice this in the midst of chaos. You can't practice this when emotions are high and things are going normal. For me and my family growing up, being a father. You practice this, pause, breathe, choose when emotions are calm, and it's easier to access calm. And one of the effective ways I've seen this done is a planned role playing activity in a family setting. I've seen great master teachers do this in their classrooms as well. Now, let's talk about calm with kids. For many children, calm starts with what we call borrowed calm or co-regulation. The adult lends steadiness to the child so the child can have that, as Mrs. Jones said earlier, we're contagious. So that calm emotion is also contagious to the child.
Absolutely. And you know what? As a new mom, I'm starting to believe this works no matter what the age is. I have an almost 12-month-old, and I'm telling you, when I start to do that deep, slow, calm, steady breathing, it's like she calms down too. I don't
Yeah.
know if she's feeling
Mm-hmm.
that same energy from me. And even at that young age, I think this is very key. So there's two simple co-regulation moves. Lower your voice and slow your body and breathe before you speak. Lower your voice, slow your body, breathe before you speak. Because you can be firm and calm at the same time. Being
Right.
calm is not the same as being permissive.
Thank you for that. Thank you. That is such a mistake that I think is made. Being calm is you can you can require correct behavior and still be calm about it. Yeah,
Yes.
well, think about it this way. Leadership at home or in any organization is not really about controlling people. The more you try to control people, the more they will rebel. At least me and my grandkids and my children. If I inserted any sort of coercion or control, that became that rebellion. What I could do is I could control the atmosphere that I brought to the home as a father and as a husband, or as a principal, or as a teacher. I was taught this phrase early in my educational career as leadership, and I use it frequently, more than people realize. And the phrase goes like this. He taught me, the faster, the slower, the higher, the lower, the louder, the softer. And what it meant was, he told me, look, when a parent comes at you, it's not about you. They're emotional. Or when somebody comes at you emotional, when emotions are hot, the faster someone's speaking, the lower you force yourself to speak. The higher their tone, the lower you have your tone go. And the louder they talk, the softer you talk. And then that's contagious. I repeat it in my mind actually before the event happens because I can see it coming. And I'm telling you, it works nearly every time to bring calm back into the room.
You know what you're doing, Dr. Winsor, is that's an actual tool. That's a proactive tool. We call that stimulus, response, reward.
Ah.
Yeah. So something triggers you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we call that is the stimulus. The stimulus triggers that moment. Your emotions start to rise. The response is what we do in that moment, how we respond to that trigger. Now, the more we respond in a certain way to a certain trigger, the more it becomes a routine. You know, the trigger might be this person's escalating, they're speaking louder, they're getting angrier, and our response, you know, as you said, the lower our tone, we breathe through that moment. So it becomes a routine. And then the reward is what makes it likely to repeat. Now, we have to be careful because if we don't choose a response for ourselves, our brains are going to choose one for us. And it's going to usually be that fast one, like snapping at people, arguing, avoiding, or giving in. But we can plan ahead for these predictable triggers.
Yeah, because I'm telling you this. Proactive families, they don't wait. Proactive families, proactive classrooms, proactive organizations, they don't wait for the moment to decide who they're going to be. Because if you wait until the chaos, or you wait till the snap of the stimuli, that will determine what you're going to be and who you're going to become. Instead, proactive people who exercise these things that Mrs. Jones is giving us, they decide ahead of time based upon their North Star vision and mission statements as their guide.
Mm-hmm. So let's prepare for that now that we have some time to practice this. So let's name one predictable trigger, not the biggest one right now, just one you can actually work on this week. All right. A predictable trigger like morning transitions,
Yes.
Homework time, being in the car, driving to school, screen shutdown time, bedtime, sibling conflict. Choose one that you will be able to handle this week, one predictable trigger. And then you're going to write one sentence. When, fill in the blank, this trigger happens, we will, fill in the blank. What are we going to do in response to that trigger? So you can frame it like this. When I don't want to wake up in the morning, when that happens and I feel cranky in the morning, I will take a deep breath, put on my favorite song, and head down to breakfast and get ready for school. So you can help your family talk through what will we do in response to that thing that triggers us.
Yeah. And now I'm being grandpa, helping with raising our grandkids, and it's flashbacks because I know I have enough experience, and parents, y'all have enough experience. You know what's coming. So if we can prepare ahead of time and say, okay, I already know when I say it's time to turn the TV off and they ignore me, does that happen? Yes. They just totally feel like I'm a ghost. What is my response? It's not anger. It's not loud. What is my response? And then you plan that as a family together. Hey, when I give this direction for screen time off or bedtime routine or come to dinner or whatever it is, you have a pre-planned response.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good counsel.
Okay. So type your plan. If you're in the webinar, you can type it out in the chat. If you're in the podcast, say it out loud or write it down. When this trigger happens, when blank happens, we will blank, and think of what that might look like for you as the parent and for your family.
Wonderful. All right, Mrs. Jones, this is my favorite part of this. I go back and review some of the family practices that we've given. I'm ready. Give us this week's Paideia practice.
All right. Well, as usual, before we close, we like to offer one simple practice families can try this week, something small that supports whole person growth. So this week's Paideia practice is a quick family game that builds calm. Pause, breathe, choose. So choose a few everyday moments that get tense, like turn off the screen, we're late, it's homework time. Then take turns practicing 3 simple steps. Pause your body, breathe one slow breath, and choose a better next step. And if anyone messes up, practice the most powerful line, let me try again.
Yes.
So we'll send the full practice with these steps by email, and we'll post it on our blog so you can try it this week.
I love that. If families could practice that one family practice consistently, I think what you've given us is it's okay to mess up a moment. It's okay to forget. It's not a punishment time. I love that statement you gave us. What was that again? Give me that statement again.
Let me try again.
Oh, that's so easy. Oh, well, let me try again. Let me try again. Yeah. Or the parent could say, try again.
Try again. Or let's try again.
Let's try again. Let's try again. And then you rewind, give the direction again, and then practice that correct response. I love it. Hey, before we sign off, there's an optional companion resource that we offer to the community. I also share some short reflections from my backpacking experiences and some of the wildernesses I've traveled through. And it's a wilderness metaphor through what I call graybeard philosophy. Yes, I do have that gray beard. This week's companion is called Wilderness Reveals. It's a reflection on how pressure exposes what's really guiding our reactions and how we can return to choice and calm, even in the moment of stress and chaos. We'll put the link in the blog post if it serves you well.
So as we end today's conversation, remember that you are also a whole person. Be kind to your body, your mind, your heart, and your spirit.
Be well. And until next time, this is the Paideia Way.